This is the closest thing I've ever owned to a go-kart. I really can't wait. Good morning everyone, welcome to another video. Today is day 75 in my Cayman. Mileage at the moment is 59,082, which means I've just crept over 1,500 miles since I picked this up. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you an update on my costs of ownership so far. Now, I have a bit of a history doing things like this. I'm an accountant by trade, so I see the world as a combination of rows and columns. I like understanding things, I like information, I like data. It informs better decision making. So I have a spreadsheet that I update with costs as things progress through my ownership, and a bunch of charts to illustrate all the various costs. I've done this for my last few cars, the 60,000 miles I did in my 2013 Ford Fiesta ST, the 19,000 miles I did in my 2017 Ford Focus RS, and the 25,000 miles I did in my 2017 BMW M140i. I learned a lot tracking the costs on those cars, so I'll be doing exactly the same with this Cayman. If you want to see how I get on with this car, what the true costs of ownership are in my hands, what costs I may suffer when running a 13-year-old Cayman on road, on track and in competition, then please subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload. If you do, thank you. Before I get to those costs, and I've had some unexpected expense of late, I did have some rather unsurprising bad news last week. And that bad news was that the track day that I had booked for the 8th of March was cancelled. No surprise there really. So with Bedford cancelled, I've rebooked it for April, but annoyingly that's going to be after the Goodwood Auto Solo that I've got on the 11th of April. I was really hoping to have a session on track in this car before that competition to get a feel for it, but as it is, I'm going to be entering the competition blind, so to speak. Last time out I came first in the rear-wheel drive over 2 litre class in my BMW M140i, so this Cayman has some very, very big boots to fill. I've also just booked a Goodwood track day in July, and I have the second auto solo of the year in the autumn, but I'm itching to get this out on track at Bedford. This will be the 7th car I've owned that I've driven on track, and there really is nothing finer than taking a car onto circuit for the first time and finding out what you've got. I love those immediate first impressions you get the first time out, when you're free of speed limits, dodgy road surfaces, other traffic, and the occasional suicidal wildlife. I've got to say, I have high hopes for this Cayman. It's more specifically built for circuit work than any car I've ever owned. I really can't wait to get it out on track. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's get on to these costs. To recap, I bought this car on the 16th of December 2020 with 58,574 miles on it. Here's how my mileage has built since then. Fuel consumption is a question often asked about these cars, about any performance car really. So here's a chart which shows my actual calculated miles per gallon for each fill up and my average to date. You can see that I've had lows of 22, highs of 27, and the average has come in at exactly 25 miles per gallon. I'm intrigued by the accuracy of the onboard trip computer MPG calculation. People often say that you just can't rely on it. So this chart shows my calculated miles per gallon versus the trip computer miles per gallon. And you can actually see, so far, it's really close. Across all my miles and fuel so far, it's only out by 0.2 miles per gallon. else that can have a big impact on the fuel costs is, of course, the cost of fuel. And here you can see that in the last 75 days since I bought this, there's been an 8% increase in the pence per litre. So what does all of that mean, and what other expenses have I had then? Well, this shows my cumulative costs, everything so far, although that's not entirely true because there's no depreciation in here, as it's a bit too early to make a call on that one. Many people comment that 987s have hit the bottom now, and the prices are actually starting to hold firm. So I'll take a proper look at depreciation in about a year or so. Other things to note are that the vehicle excise duty or road tax is high for a manual 2.7 litre Cayman, but that's the extra cost of having a 6th gear, and that is offset by the fact that I pay pennies for insurance, only £141 for a full year, doing 6,000 miles per annum. And the grey section, the sundries cost, that's a couple of new headlight bulbs, because coming from my BMW M140i that had adaptive LEDs, the headlights in this were shockingly bad. And I've also spent a tiny sum on a Bluetooth FM transmitter so I can stream music from my phone, but that doesn't get a great deal of use because when you've got this thing between 4 and 7K, that's music enough. What's the big chunk of blue servicing cost? Well, that was £132 for a new battery I had fitted recently. In the cold weather it really started to struggle turning over, so I popped the bonnet to have a look, and what was in there, while Porsche branded, might even have been the original battery, it was tiny and lacked balls. Clearly it had seen better days. So I had it replaced with something more up to the task, a bit more oomph, and it's been fine ever since. Here's all of the above in number form, so get ready with the pause button if you want to look at this. A total of £647 so far for everything except the aforementioned depreciation. And next on my to-do list with this car is to destroy these terribly noisy Bridgestone RE050 tyres, and also to wear out these brakes and discs that are of unknown origin. With the upcoming auto solo at Goodwood and a full day at Bedford in April, I intend to enjoy myself doing exactly that. I hope you found this useful or interesting. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in my next video. Thank you very much for watching.